We're here at Gunner's Firearms with Maggie. Maggie, it is so good to see you again.
Welcome back, Mark. It's good to be seen. I'd rather be seen than viewed.
That's right, yeah. Well, you know, we were talking in the last video, we were talking about the trends here that you're seeing more recently, and you brought up something that I just kind of want to talk to. Because this is something that I have not seen, and I'd really like to know why more than anything else. Why don't you just speak to that, if you don't mind?
So I think the thing we're talking about here that no one wants to talk about because pretty darn quiet. It's kept under wraps.
Silencers. Silencers, suppressors.
Silencers, NFA items. So they do serve a specific purpose, and it is not the purpose that you see on television usually. I guess people watch more television than I do, so maybe there are shows that specifically reach this purpose, but it is so damaging to discharge firearms to your hearing. That is I'm
glad you brought that
loud noise. And the sound waves can actually do physical damage to all of the tiny bones, the hair follicles, everything in your ears. So bringing down the decibel level to something, especially if you are going to be repeatedly discharging firearms on your property, at the range, or whatever, having something that can, besides the standard ear protection, that can reduce the level of noise that you are exposed to, will actually prolong your health and your life. You know, you won't need hearing aids by age 40 or maybe 50. So,
well, and Laurel, you know, because we were talking just the other day, I don't have major hearing issues, but I could tell that there's things that are said around the table that I'm like, what? And she said, you're going to be so much fun to grow old with. And I said, well, the good news is that I'm shooting guns for a living, too. So I'm glad you brought that up. So, but that would be the reason why the people are buying them, right? Is if they even say, is it because I'm tired of the bang?
Or
I want to be suppressed.
If they have neighbors that are close enough to their property, we're talking about people who own acreage and they're trying not to
be a nuisance, a sound nuisance.
Yeah, you don't want to be a pest.
Well, let me ask you. So the people that are going down this path, you know, obviously there's a process involved, there's a waiting period, there's the tax stamp, that kind of thing. They're typically coming in knowing that, so they're being patient ideally.
It's not like, hey, I know I want to buy this and I want to take it home today. That is not how this works, and there are people who will spend months or sometimes years waiting to purchase a silencer, waiting to adopt one and take it home, but their purposes for those will vary quite wildly. Most of the time, it's generally like, yeah, I may find myself in an area where this is going to be a nuisance, or it's going to be detrimental to my health or my hearing if I have to keep discharging this firearm without some way to dampen that sound. So silencers actually do have a practical purpose for those people, and to which they'll order one or two or three, depending on which firearms they're going to go on, what their purpose and specific use of that tool is. So,
gotcha. Now, this may be a loaded question, no pun intended, but is the trend in suppressor purchases, is that normal? I mean, what you're seeing now, is that normal? And I guess maybe I could ask Brian too. Do you mind answering that? Are you seeing an uptick in suppressor purchases, or what you seeing is normal?
March through May of this year, we saw a huge with the e-filing system. It's gone back to normal now. It's because the e-filing system, they promised
shorter wait
60,
times.
90-day turnaround, and that just didn't happen.
Oh,
It
yeah.
happened at first, and then, of course, the huge impact.
Okay.
We're not seeing.
So you
So it's really because of that e-filing system.
yeah.
That's
So
interesting. Thank you for that.
they did do the e-file. It does make things roll through a little bit quicker, but you still have to have enough people, actual human
review it.
beings,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
reviewing these to get the wait times down to these shorter amounts. And so it does reduce, the e-file system does reduce a little bit of the paperwork time, mostly travel through the mail. Electronic mail, emails are still way quicker than snail mail by post in most cases. And but they really still have to have physical people there reviewing these, which the manpower, it can get there quicker, but it's still going to take someone just as long to review it. But if they have to correct errors or changes, usually electronically is a quicker way to make such corrections. Or, oh, you abbreviated a city instead of spelling it all out. Could you pretty please fix that and then return it back to us? We'll get it back to the top of the pile in the order in which we're going through, instead of waiting for the mail, waiting for it to come back through the mail, and then slipping it on the bottom of the pile. So it can make things a little quicker, but
Well, I'm glad to see this trend. I'm glad to see it. That's good. Even if it was the e-filing system that caused it, whatever that may be, it's good because it is. As somebody that I do see the progression of hearing loss over the years. I see it. Fast forward 20, 30, 40 more years, you do this with a suppressor, everything changes.
It's a
big deal.
real thing. You get these guys that are vets that have served overseas, have seen combat, or are in areas where there are a lot of loud discharges of firearms, not just small arms, but like larger stuff too. And it's not always ideal for the human body to go through such massive loud noises for prolonged time. So having the silencers on there on some of these will help in some settings, but it just takes a while to get there.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear it.
Patience.
Good. It's good. This is a good trend. Well, Maggie, gosh, thank you so much. We always appreciate your wisdom and insight that you give us, and we'll just keep on talking.
Right on. We'll
right.
see you next time, Mark.
All right.
Bye, Internet.
Bye-bye.